Hey, what's going on, guys? Jet XC, man, and welcome to a beginner's guide for Snowbreak. So first of all, thanks for clicking on this video. We're going to go over my first anniversary edition of Snowbreak. I'm going to try and keep it as brief as possible. I'm going to be honest, the video is probably going to be quite long, so I will leave certain sections of the video that you can click on, certain timestamps, so you guys can go through it and what you need to know. But I think it's important to just go through everything once so you don't have any questions ever again. Now, I will say I've been playing Snowbreak since November. I really committed to it to November. I played it like once before then, committed to November. I know a lot of you have probably come because you've seen Snowbreak go from this very kind of blandish game with blandish models to this amazing game with, I mean, I'll be honest, in-your-face fan service. So if you're into that, this is definitely the game for you. The first anniversary is going to be great, but this is my advice to you guys as you start in Snowbreak. My biggest advice is to play this game casually. Don't take it so seriously. There's going to be a lot of things in this game that will easily burn you out if you try and chase big numbers, if you try and chase the best times. This game is best played when you're playing co-op, even if you have a friend or two, if you're playing with them, and just, you know, enjoying the stories, getting your dailies done, and collecting your characters along with skins in this game. So keep that in mind, man, and hey, let's get into this first anniversary edition of a beginner's guide. Okay, guys, so the first thing that's going to happen here is you're going to be really quick to make sure you're rolling for a character as soon as possible. You want to get through the story, you're going to skip the story and all the little scenes, and you're just going to blow through it so you can roll for a character, right? So once you get through the first chapter, you'll be able to do some rolls. Now, there will be a beginner banner. You'll be able to roll on that banner. You will also, I believe it's in 50 pulls, you will be able to get a guaranteed 5-star. Now, later on down the line in 5-12, you will actually get a free 5-star selector. So I want you to keep that in mind with this information. But before we talk about the characters, let's talk about some basic stats here. So there's S energy and U energy. S energy for characters is the ability of your standard / support skill on your units, right? So for example, Life Wild Hunt, she sends a bunch of frostbite wolves to attack units and also kill and freeze them, right? So S energy is something that will also charge passively as you play the game. It will slowly charge up as you play the game, right? And then U energy is something that you share as a whole with your entire team of 3, right? U energy is used for your ultimates, and this is something that builds up as you fight. You have to shoot enemies in order to build up U energy. Okay, cool. Now, one more thing. There is this thing in the game called, well, essentially it's Ricochet, and I mean, if you know weapon terms, then Ricochet is when bullets bounce off of something, right? So certain weapons will get their damage deflected more than other weapons. So certain characters have certain guns that have a high ricochet rate. So from highest to lowest, these are the weapons that have the highest ricochet rate all the way to the lowest. Number 1, submachine gun. Number 2, assault rifle. Number 3, pistol. Number 4, shotgun. Number 5, sniper rifle. Okay, remember that. So when you're playing the game, if you're trying to avoid ricochet rates, you're probably going to want a shotgun versus a sniper rifle. But I will be honest, it really isn't that big of a deal. Some people may argue that because when it comes to damage numbers, it's going to suck when a lot of your bullets ricochet with the machine gun or even a assault rifle. However, when it comes to just getting through the content, I'm going to be honest with you guys, it really does not matter, right? I started out with Life, who has a submachine gun, and I was able to get through the majority of the content in Snowbreak as I got more characters. So this is going to be completely up to you. Now, let's talk about the characters now that we know this information. So now let's talk about these 5-star units. So you're going to have Life Wild Hunt, Finny Coronet, Marion Swift, Freesia Hush, Yao Winter Solstice. Now, I'm going to be honest, whoever you get, it's honestly fine, guys. I don't want you guys re-rolling over and over and over thinking, I need to get this character. So let me tell you a couple things, right? Yao uses a sniper rifle. Finny Coronet uses a shotgun. Life Wild Hunt uses a submachine gun. Marion Swift uses a sniper rifle. Risha Hush uses a assault rifle, right? So keep in mind to what I said earlier, and you can take that into account. Now, like I said, it really doesn't matter. I used the worst Ricochet weapon, which was submachine gun on Life, but Life was really fun for me, and again, I got through a lot of the content with Life. Now, in terms of the overall best unit, in my opinion, to use in multiple situations, so it's really tough because a lot of these units have benefits. Overall, I'm going to go through a few units that I think would be really good choice for a new player overall, and one of those choices is Finny Coronet. She is a shotgun unit. She's good at bosses, she's good at a bunch of mobs, and even supporting. And by supporting, she's able to, with her quick time ability, her QTE, she's able to give other units a boost in essentially attack speed, or essentially shooting speed, right? She's able to give that. And then herself, she gives herself electric damage and also an attack boost, an attack speed boost when it comes to her shotgun. And then her ult provides a bunch of crowd control that allows her to do a whole bunch of damage along with electric damage. So overall, in terms of everything when it comes to mobs, bosses, supporting, Finny Coronet is fantastic. Now, let's do another unit like Yao Winter Solstice. Now, Yao Winter Solstice is definitely an interesting one. She is a insane DPS unit. She has been one of the best since the beginning of the game. Now, she is a sniper user, so for a lot of you that don't like playing sniper rifles, keep that in mind. But she is a sniper DPS. She has these crazy abilities that assist, essentially allow her to pump out high damage shot after high damage shot, using her active skills. And then her ultimate ability will give her even more damage with a gun that also reduces the damage that she takes while in her ultimate form. So she is a crazy damage dealer overall. So if you want to use Yao, by all means go for Yao. Right now, I will say a lot of people do recommend her 5-star weapon, so keep that in mind. Now, another unit that I'd say overall is good, I would say Life. Now again, Life has the issue of the Ricochet for a submachine gun, but with her freezing crowd control abilities, with her ult and her standard skill, I think she's a solid unit. Now the other two, Freesia and Marion Swift, I will say that these are both high investment units. If you like them, go for them. They're solid units as well. Freesia, if you get her right, she is a huge damage dealer when it comes to single target bosses. And Marion Swift is a solid unit as well, right? So essentially, I would recommend Finny, Yao, or Life out of the 5. So if you're asking me who would I choose, I would say Finny. Finny is a solid unit overall. I think she can provide anything and everything for everybody in terms of a team. So Finny Coronet would be my personal choice. Whatever you guys want to pick is up to you. None of these are bad choices. I have to say that. All these characters are solid tiered characters. End of discussion, right? So hopefully you take that and do with that information what you will when it comes to re-rolling. Again, I wouldn't recommend re-rolling, but it's completely up to you. Now, lastly, the thing I want to add is when you get to 5-12, these characters will pop up again, right? You will have a choice between any of the 5. Now, like I said, when you're re-rolling on that banner that is set at a guaranteed 50, hopefully you do get the character that you want within that banner before you hit the 50 guaranteed 5-star rate. But again, you'll have to wait and do more of the content. But like I said, 5-12, you will get a character selector with these 5 characters. So choose wisely. If there's any information you want to see more in terms of what they do, please check my links in the description for these characters. Now, let's move on. Okay guys, so now you've got the character that you hopefully get by rolling on the banner, and you're trying to get to 5-12, so you're going through a lot of the story. You're farming different types of things to increase the stats on your unit and also your weapon as well, right? And you're getting through the game pretty okay. Now, at some point, you're going to have to at least understand a lot of the random stats in the game. There's elements in this game We've even gone over weapon types. So here is a very interesting spreadsheet that I will have linked in the description as well. And I'm just going to kind of slowly read over this because I think all of this is pretty important, because once I go over this, a lot of the stats will start to make sense when I talk about them later in the video. So we're going to be looking at character basic info, and this is from a unit perspective, right? So this is saying all the things that a unit can have as stats, right? And operative. So let's say you have life. Life can have crit rate. You can have damage amplifiers on her. U energy recovery, which is something we went over, but it kind of goes over how the stats are calculated. Stamina, you know, to run and dodge. Kinetic resistance. So there's different elements in this game. They're saying kinetic resistance because you can have that on an operative. It's kinetic resistance plus the current stat, and that will increase your kinetic resistance. So I'm going to read off the rest. These are all the elements: kinetic, thermal, frost, electric, chaos. And as a unit, you can have certain types of resistances of those elements. Skill haste is important. Skill haste reduces the cooldown of an operative skill. So for example, if I'm playing life, 5-star life, when she uses her frost wolves, those little things that she shoots out to an attack enemy, if I've got a good amount of skill haste, I can shorten the cooldown of that ability. We have S energy recovery, which I've went over. S energy recovery increases the standard skill charge recovery, excuse me. So we went over that, and U energy. Auxiliary unit strength. So auxiliary unit strength increases the strength of auxiliary units. For example, summon life raven. So auxiliary units is an interesting one because I don't think it really comes up that often, but 4-star life essentially will summon these robot ravens that will shoot for her, right? And that is an auxiliary unit in this game. There's very few examples of this in this game, but it will tell you based on the stat of your character if that unit is an auxiliary unit. So yeah, just keep that in mind. This is a very interesting stat in my opinion, but it's really not that big of a deal to hang on to unless the character has it in their description. You'll know. And then alignment index can strengthen the passive skill, which is the DEIWOS alignment. So we'll get into that in a second. But yes, alignment index, essentially all you need to know is that alignment index strengthens passive skill. We'll get into that. So we've got weapon attributes, compatibility. The higher percentage of compatibility is the higher damage your character can do. So there is weapon compatibility in this game. So for example, I mean, obviously if you've got a 5-star frost weapon on 5-star life, then that is a big weapon compatibility and the higher damage you'll do. Rate of fire, so that's your shooting rate, shooting speed, right? Damage type, the element. So we went over some of the elements: frost, electrical, thermal, right? So that's pretty important. The max range, so this depends on the weapon. Damage scales on how far you are to your target. So obviously if you're a sniper, it really won't matter as much. If you're a shotgun user, of course it'll matter as much. We have ammo capacity, right? So current weapons, ammo capacity, how many bullets can it hold? Reload speed, I mean, self-explanatory, a lot of the stuff. And then crit damage, we know what crit damage is, right? So those are weapon attributes. Logistics, now logistics are essentially these units that you put on your character, right? And they give them certain abilities. Let's do something recent. So it's like an echo, like in Weathering Waves, you put echoes on your character and it gives them extra certain stats. It's essentially the same thing with logistic details. So logistics can provide ballistic damage, which increases your damage dealt on weapon shots. Standard ballistic damage increases your damage dealt on weapon through hip firing, right? So hip firing, that's important. So not zooming in the sight. ADS, right down here, which is aim down sight, this increases your damage dealt on weapon through scoping and zooming in. So some of you may have an assault rifle, you may want to just have it on standard ballistic damage, or when you get these logistics, it'll actually already have that as a prerequisite on the logistic itself. Active skill damage, increase the active skill damage. Example, Acacia knives, support skill. So essentially when you throw out a skill, like they gave an example of Acacia's knives that she throws out to crowd control, those active skills will be on the field for a while, like maybe 5, 6, 7 seconds. So that will increase the damage it's doing while on the field. Auxiliary units. We went over this. Increases the strength of auxiliary units. Like it says, Life Ravens. Healing effect percentage. Increase the healing effect of auxiliary units. And then it gives an example. Cheching's drop pod. So 4-star Cheching has a drop pod to where she can heal units. And if you have a healing effect percentage, this will affect that auxiliary unit that is separate from Cheching that will allow it to heal other operatives, right? So hopefully you guys are keeping up with me. Again, we're going to go through this. It may seem kind of monotonous, but we're going to keep going. So we have reducing target's resistance, decreasing target's resistance by using an active skill. An example they gave is Twilight Squad, right? Ultimate skill damage percentage. Increase your ultimate skill damage. Increase damage dealt. Increases your damage of a user after using an ultimate skill. And it gives an example of Fenya Squad. Increase max U energy. So increases the capacity of U energy located at the top right. So that's where it tells you where you can find your U energy there. At the top right of your UI screen. U energy recovery percentage increases the amount of U energy recovery. Basically percentage, essentially. So it will give you quicker U energy. Shield acquisition efficiency, increase the amount of shield gain. For example, finish standard skill with top left neuronics. So essentially, if a character is giving you shields, you can increase that shield acquisition efficiency. Control effect percentage, increase damage taken by target when slow, paralyzed, freeze, stun users cast crowd control. So for example, 5-star Life with her Frost Wolves, this would have much better control effect and freeze enemies a lot better. Elemental damage, we get what that is. Invulnerable effect, unable to take damage from enemies. Now, a lot of this it could be a lot for a lot of new players. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of the times you may not have to pay attention to this stuff because for events in these games, every operative comes with their own logistics. So as long as you do the event, that is literally over 40 days that you have to do the event. As long as you do these events, you'll be able to get the right logistics for your character. And for the most part, you'll be pretty much set and you'll be pretty much okay, right? If you're really trying to push out a little bit more damage, then you can look into your character to see what they do. And you can decide to, oh, okay, I want to put ultimate skill damage percentage. Or maybe I want standard ballistics because I hit fire a lot with this character. Or maybe I do want U energy recovery or control effect percentage because I'm playing Life. Definitely a bunch of different options here, but as long as you have the logistics, a lot of these abilities will come with the benefit for that character. So hopefully that helps. Okay guys, so let's get into DEIWOS alignment. So as many of you remember earlier, I mentioned alignment index, and alignment index currently will boost your current stats on a character. So alignment index can strengthen passive skill, which is involved with your DEIWOS alignment. So DEIWOS alignment essentially is your passive skills, right? So there's DEIWOS alignment phases 1 to 4. Neuronics help to increase your DEIWOS alignment stats and passive, or excuse me, stats / passive, right? Each character has a unique neuronic and all nodes can be upgraded. Right, so neuronics are used to increase your overall DEIWOS alignment here, and as you're doing that, you increase passive stats for your character. So let's kind of take a look here. So, so essentially, to update this passive of your DEIWOS alignment, you're going to be using Fiber Axon and Quantum Cells to do this upgrade. Now, once you fully finish the DEIWOS alignment, you will be able to do manifestations, and manifestations is essentially the dupe system, guys. You can get all the way up to manifestation 5. So real quick, the number one thing I advise is, unless you're a whale, you do not need to get multiple dupes of a character. You don't. The rates in this game are very tough, guys, so I want you to at least be able to get one copy and then do the manifestation dupes daily. That allows you to slowly level up your character, right? And doing daily dupes involves doing something called a personal file, which gives you a certain amount of shards to level up your character to M1, to M2 to M3 to M4, right? And it even goes over it here talking about how manifestation 1 equals 60 shards, M2 equals 60 shards, M3 is 90 shards, right? So just slowly level up your character every day through the personal files, which again, the personal files is you have to play through that character's little mini story. Once you're able to do that, you will be able to auto personal files every day, right? And you'll be able to do it twice daily. And then actually you'll be able to do it 4 times, twice for 2 characters, which I advise you to do and slowly level up your characters, right? And again, I'll go over personal files again in the video. But yes, so DEIWOS alignment essentially will level up certain passives for you with your character. So then when you use something like alignment index as an increase on your passive stats, that will help out a lot depending on the character you're trying to use, right? So it all makes sense once you put 2 and 2 together. So yeah, like I said, fiber axon, quantum cells will help you level up your DEIWOS. And then after you've unlocked your DEIWOS alignment phases 1 through 4, then you're good to go on starting to make dupes for a character. So hopefully that helps. So the next thing we're going to get into is Dispatch, Personal File, Operation, Paradoxal Labyrinth, and Gigalink. Now, obviously you're playing the main story, and the main story is important because you get to push certain content, and you get to unlock certain things in the game. Like I said, 5-12 will unlock the free 5-star selector, and you'll unlock a bunch of other things when it comes to a lot of these other selections here. So we're just going to go down the line of each one and what you could do in them. So let's start with operations. So in operations, there's first combat training. Now combat training will teach you about different things in the game: weak spot, park destruction, special skills, and even something we went over earlier like Ricochet. If you defeat each one, you'll essentially get 50 digicash, so definitely worth getting the rewards, and it's great for learning the game. The next thing we're going to talk about is Pot of Plenty. So as you progress throughout this game, you unlock different difficulties for Pot of Plenty, and within these difficulties you can auto clear them once you beat them once, right? So at the Abyss mode, which is the hardest mode, you get over 12k Pot of Plenty, or excuse me, 12k silver bucks, right? And these silver bucks will help you when you're leveling up certain characters. When you need weapon ascension, you will use silver bucks along with other material to level them up, and you can auto clear it daily if you want to. And this is pretty important as you'll need this obviously because it's the currency within the game. Next one is the black market. Now this will give your operative experience. So as you're playing the game, you're going to want to level up your character, try and get through each difficulty the best you can. And like I've mentioned earlier, the harder the difficulty, the more stuff that you'll actually get. So you'll be able to auto it just fine, and you'll get some of the combat records here to help you level up your character. So pretty simple. Next thing is the Peacemaker, and this is obtain weapon experience material. So pretty self-explanatory. You're going to get through each one, see how far you can get, and then you can auto it daily to make things easy, and you'll be able to get weapon experience material. Now, weapon ascension material, this is going to be for when your weapon is capped off on a certain level. You'll be able to use these different types of material to get the ascension you need, or excuse me, the material you need to ascend your weapon. So moon polar fibers, hypercarbon plastics, synthetic particles, and it'll tell you everything as you're leveling up your weapon, and we'll get into it when we go over characters and weapons in the game, and how to level them up and all that stuff. But it will tell you what you need, and it will bring you to the place on how to get them when you're trying to find out how to ascend it and what material you need. So keep that in mind. Okay, so obtaining operative neuronic materials in the realm of eternal winter. So this right here is where you'll have material to level up your neuronics. You collect fiber axons, and fiber axons will help you level up your neuronics, and neuronics is your passive for your character. And once you complete the neuronics, you've completed the DEIWOS, which again is essentially just your passive abilities, and then that will unlock the dupe system in this game, which is the manifestations, and you'll be able to manifest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with personal files and other means of leveling things up. So next one is obtaining logistics officers and raining fire. So again, similar thing, beat the hardest modes, you collect more of the material, you gain intermediate or you gain certifications, and these certifications help you level up your logistic material, and sometimes you'll be able to get logistic material when you play. Now over here, if you get 100 progression points, and every day, as long as you auto clear, you will gain points here, you can actually set the logistics you want for certain characters, right? So let's just say I want something from Marion Swift. I could get something from Marion Swift here, and I can set it. And then once that progression system is complete, I'm able to then take that and gain all 3 of these logistics that would be perfect for Marion Swift. So a pretty simple system, and it helps you get logistic squads for certain real standard and basic units, right? Otherwise, when it comes to new units, you get that in an event, but we'll go over event very soon. Okay. Last one here is the arms hub. So essentially you obtain these weapon components and you exchange it in the shop, and with that you're able to get basically exchanging it for purple tiered weapons, right? So you clear this, get general weapon components, and you'll be able to exchange it. So pretty simple enough. That's all you really need to do. So yeah. And then sometimes when you click source, depending on what you're looking at, it will take you to the source. So keep that in mind when you're trying to look up certain things. Now, let's move on to personal files. So personal file is interesting because this is how you level up your unit manifestation wise. So manifestation is the dupe system, like I've explained. All you have to do is play through the story. Once you play through the story and defeat action 2 here, once you do that, you will be able to auto farm personal files. So you'll use the currency here, which is memory chips, and you're able to use a max of 6 per character. So you can auto twice, and that will give you shards towards your character. So if you click that, it will give you shards, right? And these shards will be used towards your manifestation of a character. So pretty simple, pretty easy to do. And yeah, you could do that daily, and it will slowly but surely level up your character, and you'll get special passives if you complete a manifestation within your operative. Okay, so the next thing here we're going to go over is the dispatch. Okay, so underground purge, essentially you're going through, well, like the name says, you're going underground under the city, and you're fighting these things called Titagens. These Titagens are essentially just different monster levels you have to go through. There's a bunch of different stages. You could collect rewards. You could get digi cash and other things like silver bucks for rewards for clearing this. So it's basically little mini set challenges, and this resets. So it's something that's really fun that you could do to test yourself. And like I say, you get rewards for it. And there's also the Jotun Tunnel. So within this Jotun Tunnel, it's a similar thing, but you get the currency called Titagen Crystals, and you could exchange these Titagen Crystals in the event exchange shop, and you could get things like logistics and revision applications. We'll go over revision applications, but what these are essentially, you could change the stats on your logistics, and if you like it, then you can use a revision application. If you don't, then you don't have to change it. And then you can also get other things like combat record and certifications as well. So this is something that, again, tests you, and you get free stuff every time. And it resets every, I believe it's every week. I do apologize, but it will tell you how many days is remaining until it resets. So just keep that in mind. Alright, next is Neuro Simulation. So Neuro Simulation resets every week. This is some of the harder content in the game, or I guess quote-unquote in-game content if you want to look at it at that. Depending on how fast you're able to complete it, you get your name on a leaderboard, which I'm going to be honest, for the majority of you, you should not care about this. I think that Snowbreak is a much better game if you play it casually and you have the materials you need to complete all the content. There's really not that big of an incentive to spend money on 5-star weapons and getting the best gear to absolutely get your name on a leaderboard. It really doesn't mean nothing in this game. There's a lot more important things that you can do in this game that matters more than a leaderboard. But essentially, this is where you could test yourself. There are 5 difficulties. I'd say around 3 is where you need to make sure you've got a good amount of weapon level up, character level up, and your logistics correct. Now, when you complete it, you gain essentially some rewards here. So you get synthetic endorphins, and you're going to collect these synthetic endorphins, and you'll use it in the shop here. So the neural simulation hub, and you can use these synthetic endorphins to get an extraction. So an extraction here is something that gives you an extra manifestation, right? So if I wanted this from Marion Swift, I could get it from Marion Swift. If I wanted a quantum cell, I could get it here. So just choose wisely on what you want it, but I would highly suggest quantum cells and then extracts, depending on if you have the character, obviously, right? But yeah, you collect synthetic endorphins here, and you can use it to exchange for different extracts. All right, last here under dispatch is tactical evaluation. So essentially, tactical evaluation is something where it essentially puts you through a bunch of different challenges. The rewards is digicash and silver bucks. Completely up to you if you want to do this. Me, I haven't really done it myself, really, because I just don't care. But I should just do it so I can get the digicash. But you collect digicash, like I said, silver bucks and other things, and it's just another way to farm up stuff and get digicash to roll for units and things like that. So pretty simple thing here. And then next we're going to go over the Paradoxal Labyrinth. Now the Paradoxal Labyrinth is essentially the roguelike mode. I've been giving recent examples. This is like Genshin Impact's Tower, or Weathering Waves is Elusive Realm, right? So essentially you would start here, you'd choose standard mode, you choose your difficulty, and you'd run through it. As you go through different levels, you get certain buffs. You can see the buffs here, or you can use some buffs here as you play through the game and level these up, and you also get buffs in the game. You get evaluation rewards, digicash, you get weapon modding agreement, which is a weapon ticket, and you get all types of rewards here. So pretty important stuff. Also too, you get different rewards for spending, let me see, yeah, for spending certain things. So remove tactical interface 3 times, use portable jammers. So when you do certain things, you'll just get random digicash rewards. And yeah, it's definitely a fun mode to test yourself and see how well you could do with the buffs you're given for each character. Moving on, so the next thing here is Gigalink. So Gigalink is essentially the co-op in this game. You work together in area control, and you essentially just take back objectives. You can play whoever you want. It does give you some suggestions here, but again, you can play whoever you want. And throughout it, you could collect neural connections, and with these neural connections, you can get different rewards. One of the rewards at 600 is a operative recruitment chip, so that'll be a 1 pull for you. And you can also get personnel limit, which is used for allocating logistics and measuring personal strength. But yeah, different rewards in different places. So pretty simple stuff. And also too, when there are other co-op events like Heroes Game, they will also appear to the left and right of area control. So it all depends on what's going on depending on the event. But area control will always be here, and it refreshes every week. So just keep that in mind. Now, the main story is obviously going to be content you're going to go through, so try your best to play the main story, get through all the content. Again, you unlock things as you go through. Hopefully you get to chapter 5-12 for the 5-star selector, and there's also hard content as well for those of us that want to try and do more difficult stuff and get more digicash and things like that. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be what you're doing in this menu. So the best thing you're going to want to do is clear out everything for operations so you can farm material at the highest level, guys. Right? So once you're able to clear all of this stuff out and you've beaten the hardest level, auto farming and doing your dailies will literally take like 1 minute, maybe 2, depending on what you're doing, if you're not doing the events that are in this game. So keep that in mind, and we're going to move on to the next thing. Alright guys, now we are in the operative menu, and this is where you can view all your different operatives here. You can check them out, see what they do. You can even look at their skins as well. And from here you can kind of make edits, change weapons, all that good stuff. So let's quickly just go over how this is going to work. So again, there will be a link in the description for certain stats when it comes to just overall weapons and what certain stats mean, like alignment index. I went over that earlier, but alignment index essentially relates to how much damage your passive is going to do. So when your alignment index is up, that means your DEIWOS passive, which is under the logistics here, or excuse me, neuronics, will be leveled up as well, right? which this is that DEIWOS passive here. So when Cherno shoots a target, inflicts with 2 stacks of enmity for 25 seconds. Deals chaos damage equal to 30% of Cherno's attack, plus 0.01% X number of enmity stacks. So this will increase her passive significantly with that high alignment index there. So we can look at stats here: HP, attack, defense, U energy recovery rate, crit rate, skill haste, S energy recovery, auxiliary unit strength is at 0, alignment index at 342%. And you can click the little question mark, it'll tell you alignment index can strengthen the effect of DEIWOS alignment. So, and it goes over weapon stuff as well. You can look at the recommended here, and it will give you the 4-star and the 5-star weapon. I'm going to be talking about this in a bit, but events, every time there's an event, there's a new character. If you're going for that new character, you can get their logistics in the event shop, as long as you're playing the event with event currency. So always go for the recommended logistics for a character. It will help them out significantly, right? And for a lot of you, you're going to be wanting to go for the 4-star weapon when it comes to the event shop. Now, whenever there's reruns as well, you will see the 4-star weapon for that character also in the event shop. So again, you really don't need 5-star weapons, guys. I want to really bring that home. Yes, in general, and we'll talk about weapons, they do about 20% more damage than a 4-star weapon, but you can get through all the content you need with just the 4-star weapon. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind as a casual free-to-play player. Or else, I mean, spending money to get this weapon, I'd rather you guys spend it on a unit. So keep that in mind. Anyway, you can also look at your weapon stats here, right? Basic information, attack, rate of fire, compatibility. I have chaos damage weapon, which is the same weapon that was recommended for Cherno here, the Halo of Hope weapon. We've got her logistics. Now, as you can see, I haven't leveled these logistics up because I ran out of material. But in here, you can train your logistics to go to level 15, right? And then once you max logistics, you can actually change effects. So let me show you with Katya. So if I click this guy, or this girl, what is it? Idmia? If I'm pronouncing that wrong, apologies, but we have different talents. U energy recovery, 14%, crit damage, frost damage, 4.7. We could train, and we could change frost damage to auxiliary strength if we select the talent. However, I'm going to keep the frost damage, but every single time, this will rotate to different status effects. So let's say if I wanted to change Anti here, let's look at her effects before that. S energy, crit damage, auxiliary unit strength. So I would go to train. I want to, looks like we're going to do auxiliary unit strength, right? We can change that to healing bonus. So we'll actually go with that. We'll get the healing bonus. Right, and you can look at your details here. So it looks like it changed the healing bonus and we're good to go. But yeah, it's randomized, but you can use that to change your logistic talent skills. Now, in general, the most important part is matching up the squad here. So you get these extra effects. That's why I always tell you guys to look at the recommended logistics for a character within the operative menu here and just get those logistics. Don't try and make your own build. It's really simple. Just follow the one that they give you. And if you can't, it'll tell you where to farm it, obviously, by clicking source, and you can go to these different locations to check out where to get them, right? And yeah, not only that, you can look at your manifestation, see where you're at. Currently, I'm on Manifestation 2 completed, so I've got this extra buff here for Guidance Form. Damage dealt to destructible items is increased by 30%. So that's looking good. My Neuronics are obviously complete with my DEIWOS passive here. Looking good. So each of Katya's shots has a 35% chance to gain Aptitude effect. And I gain additional 35% of attack as frost damage. So pretty cool, right? So this is where you're going to level up your character, and like I said, you're going to be using Neuronics to level up each of these, right? Let me go to a different character who doesn't have them leveled up all the way, I believe. Yeah, so over here, I've got Enya. If I want to level up her stuff, let me go back. Let's say I go to Control here, I go to Details, and I can just start to level these up. And you use the Fiber Axons to complete it. So I could go here. Right, so you need Fiber Axon, and then you just keep channeling it, and then you go one by one by one by one, and you use these to level yourself up, right? And that's pretty much it. And then you'll get your DEIWOS passive, right? And then you'll be able to start manifesting your character. So yeah, guys, pretty interesting stuff. So just keep all that in mind. Yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it when it comes to looking at your character. One other thing, of course, when checking out skills, you can read the skills of each character. So this is the standard skill. This is the support skill when they're off the field. It gives you some type of support for whoever the main character is on the field. This is the ultimate skill right here. It gives you cooldown 120 seconds, costs 50 U energy. And then we have your DEIWOS passive here, right? When you level it up, you'll be able to get it. Right now it's on Reunion 1 DEIWOS. You want it on Reunion 4 DEIWOS. But right now it's on 1, so it's the smallest passive you can get. Here are the different manifestations. If you get to manifestation 3, you'll get, when equipped with an electrical weapon, Generation Ring of Zephyr immediately grants 30 stacks of natural order, right? So if you read up on your skills, you'll know what natural order is and how that will affect your damage. So yeah, everything will be in this little area here, guys, and you'll be able to review and yeah, overall you'll be able to do everything, including looking at your artwork for costumes and even doing 3D interactives. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's get on to the next one. Okay, guys, now we're going to talk about some of the most important things you got to realize as a free-to-play, and that are the events. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Realm of the Illusion here. And Realm of the Illusion is important because every like 40, it's over 40 days, right? We have a new event. This event ends in 2 days. This is where you're able to do a bunch of co-op modes, a bunch of solo modes, and you can kind of test your units in these different modes here. And this is very important because when you're doing stuff like Path of the Ascension, right, you play different modes, and if you can beat Abyss, you can auto farm Abyss here, and you can get up to 7 replays. I think it's 8, I just don't have enough, but it's around 8, and then you get this event currency. Now this event currency is important because you'll use this event currency in the shop, right? So let's check out the event shop. This is why doing an event is important. There's limited and unlimited shop. So if you're doing the story, you can use the limited currency transcendent sample to get certain rewards. You can get tickets up to 5. You can get opal vouchers, which are for the dorm. You can get revision applications, right? Quantum cells, whatever you need. But you should be able to clear out this shop for the most part if you do it just about every day or every other day. Over here is where you'll be able to collect the logistics for all the characters that are on banner. So Cyrus is the one that's on banner, so you can get Cyrus's logistics right here. And then Katya is doing a rerun, so you can get her 3 logistics right here. Now, also, you can get the 4-star weapon for the new banner, which is for Cyrus. Here's our 4-star weapon, and the rerun banner for Katya. This is important, guys. You do not have to spend money on a 5-star weapon. Like I've said, the rates in this game are terrible. They're not that good. And if I didn't say that, I'm saying it now. So you can beat a lot of this game's content with 4-star weapons. Me, myself, I do not have a single 5-star weapon yet. So I'm able to get through all the content with just 4-star weapons, and so can you. So you'll go here, you can get a copy of the 4-star weapon. And as a matter of fact, you can actually get 2 copies of this weapon to level it up to the 2nd tier. So right now I already bought it. I could buy another one, which I will actually do right now. So I bought a 2nd one, and I'm pretty much good to go. I'll be able to use that and tier it up, ascend it up again, right? And I'll be good to go in terms of Cyrus damage when it comes to my 4-star weapon. But yeah, you want to come to this event shop and try your best to clear out the important things. Manifestation, obviously for tickets. Quantum cells, those are always good to get. Monopolar fibers, and of course logistics for the characters that you need and want. But yeah, guys, you'll be able to do a bunch of different events here, like the story, co-op events and things like that, and it's pretty fun. Now with that, I really want to get into how you'll be playing this game and what you should do as a casual player when it comes to spending money, when it comes to how to level up and what's important to prioritize. So let's talk about that. Okay, guys, so now with all that information, you've looked at some of the links, you've kind of got the gist of everything. How are you going to play as a casual player? And this is just going to be strictly my advice. So again, a lot of you, I will give you this advice. Do not take this game as seriously as you do other gacha games. If you're trying to chase numbers, I think you will easily get burned out, and you might end up just quitting in general because of the burnout. Play this game casually. At the beginning, you want to trudge through the story, get as much of the story done as possible, and when you're able to do that, you'll be able to unlock different things, and your characters will be leveled up. You'll get tickets, and as you're leveling up, you're gonna want to also do operations, right? Operations are the things you use to farm material. And if you do this and beat the hardest difficulty you can auto farm material every single day. And you can also use your sticks if you want to, the recover present sticks here. But completely up to you if you'd want to do something like that, right? And you'll get daily sticks like these if you go to the shop, and then you can save up on your golden sticks, which gives you 60 presents here. But please do not use this. Do not use your DigiCash at all, right? But yeah, you want to make sure that you do all of these on the hardest difficulty so that your farming for these material are as good as possible. You want to make sure you're completing your personal files every single day, like I've talked about. Try your best on where is it at here? On Dispatch, try to get through Underground Purge, Neurosim, Tactical Eval. Again, you don't have to do this stuff every day. Some of this content here is weekly, so at whenever you feel like it, just try and, you know, get it done whenever you can. But when you're farming, you definitely want to farm using this section here to get material. Now, if you auto an entire like, let's say you're autoing for weapon material, your dailies will be just about done, right? So earlier in the video, you saw me do dailies for the event shop. If you auto farm one area completely, it will complete your dailies like that. So this game is really easy when it comes to dailies. Obviously, seasonal and targeted dailies, you just got to find out what it is yourself. So yeah, once you get that done, it's very easy to just farm every day and do like co-op or something like that for fun. You have the option to get the pass. The pass is completely up to you. I'd say for me, I've bought a good amount of passes before. I think it is worth it. So if you take a look here, you get 4 Manifestation Echo tickets, you get 120 DigiCash, you get the skin for the character and 480 DigiCash, and you get some boulder inhibitors, basically the sticks that give you presents, and you get a 4-star weapon selector, which some of you may need. So all in all, again, I would recommend only getting the season pass if you really like the skin, and yeah, you just need some extra tickets. But do keep in mind, at 128, going to be looking at about $20 here. So that'll be how much the season pass is. This is the Quartermaster exchange, so that's what you'll exchange it for, 20 bucks. Again, completely up to you. I recommend if you like the skin, then it's definitely worth it to get. Also too, when you're doing the event, like I've mentioned previously in the video, this is where you can shop for your 4-star weapon for the character you're trying to get and the logistics for that character. So that's going to be huge for you guys when farming as well. And you'll be able to farm other things in the shop as well too. And again, this is where you'll kind of have a lot of fun. There's different modes you can do, co-op modes, etc, etc. So the main goal is just going to be for you to try and get some type of main DPS or someone that you like to play. It really doesn't matter. And push with one full team as far as you can, and then slowly build that one team, and then try to eventually get more characters, and then you'll be able to build a second team, and you'll be able to do Underground Purge and different game modes, because now you'll start to have options, right? So again, to kind of sum this up for you guys, in terms of getting through the content, get that character that you want, push through the content with that character and one team as fast and as best you can. Unlock all the operations to the hardest difficulty, do your personal files, and start farming, guys, and you'll be able to level up your weapons. It's okay if your weapons aren't on the proper element. So say you're using Katya, who's Frost, and you get an element that's a thermal weapon or something like that. It's okay. Just take whatever 4-star weapon you can get until you get the weapon you really need, right? So yeah. Now, other than that, a lot of you are going to be buying skins, which I highly recommend you do. Skins are about $15. So here's the Katya skin. It's 98 quartermaster. So you can buy it here. You can go to purchase, and for 98 it's 15 bucks. Now if you get the skins with the bundle of a 3D interactive skin, the total for that one is going to be $30, right? So that's pretty much what you're going to be paying for skins. So I would say for each patch there's going to be around 3, max 4 skins depending on what event it is. So definitely use your money wisely. And yeah, I would say the skins are high quality. The 3D interactive scenes are high quality. So it's completely up to you, because I know a lot of you are going to be buying skins. But yeah, that is my overall recommendation for a lot of you free-to-play and casual players. Again, I don't recommend taking this game too seriously and whaling unless you're really okay with it. You can get through all the content with 4-star weapons, and there's really nothing pressuring for you to do that except NeuroSim. But again, it's not worth it to try hard on NeuroSim, because again, the only reward you get is, oh, you get to see your name on the leaderboards, but no one really cares about that. The funnest modes in this is co-op. So yeah, guys, hopefully that helps with a lot of advice for you free-to-play casual players, but that's what I would do when it comes to playing Snowbreak. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this beginner's guide. I really hope that helps, and apologies if this was too long, but I really wanted to go through the basics to kind of help you guys get ahead in this game. Again, I'll leave some links in the description. That gets more into details when it comes to stats or even tier list if you really want to look at that. But again, I've played this game completely casual. I got through most of the content with 5-star life. So a lot of you that are worried about getting through the content, do not worry at all. Get ready for that first anniversary. We'll be getting a free Finny 5-star, and you'll be able to roll for Life Infinity Sight, which is a really cool character. We're getting new skins, and I really can't wait for you guys to join me in the first Annie. I'll be playing it too. So yeah, Brown Dust. So yeah, Snowbreak is a great game overall. It's very casual, very fun game, and I hope you guys enjoy it. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. But that's it from me. Later.